Hi, everybody. I'm Dee Lisa West. I'm a dream doula and a life coach in Southern California.
And I am Christina Spataro. I'm a psychotherapist and relationship coach in New York City.
All right. We're coming to you coast to coast, but in the mind that we all share in this universe that we're all in. And one of the things we thought we might chat about today is what's your unique talent and gift?
Mm,
And we started that by saying, where are you stuck? Because people often feel like, well, they're stuck. They want to do something, but they don't know what. They want to move forward. Maybe they have a dream and they can't believe they can do it. But there's a certain thing that every one of us can do better than anyone else in the entire universe. Maybe not better, maybe better is the wrong word, but we have our own unique talents and gifts to share that no one else has the ability to do it just our way. And you were thinking about that this week because you were watching a YouTube about this very thing. So share more, Christina. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
oh, I confess, as I've told people on my website, my secondary one, Therapy Through Movies, I had way too much screen time as a kid. And sometimes I still go to the screen. Only since I cut the cable cord, I watched YouTube stuff. The YouTube stuff that draws me is usually like people who are just talking about interesting things or just riffing on life. And I
Mhm.
was watching this guy and he was talking about how, a lot of times, we have these dreams and we're like, why won't it happen? Why won't this happen for me? But we realize that maybe we're actually not pursuing what we're meant to pursue. Because sometimes you may have these interests or hobbies that you don't think anything about. That you think, that's nothing. That's just something I do. But maybe it is something. Maybe that's the thing you should be pursuing. And you see people who like have these things where like this is their passion, and when they pursued their passion, they had tremendous success. And they weren't trying to fit themselves into somebody else's mold of what they thought they should be doing.
Also, for years, there was a book way back in the day, I think called Do What You Love and the Money Will Follow.
Mhm.
Um, I also believe that some people have gifts that aren't money-making gifts. They have a job that brings them the money, and then they
Right,
have a gift that gives them the joy. And
right,
if they can manage going to the job that makes them the money and doing the thing that gives them joy also, they can have a beautiful life. And
right.
maybe that pottery class or the landscape painting thing they're doing is not going to make them a gillionaire, but it's going to bring them so much joy. And the other people who see them doing it are going to be inspired to also live their creative gifts and listen to them. I had a guy tell me once, I hadn't seen him in many years, maybe 30, but I knew him as a young boy and I dated his older brother. And he said to me when I saw him this 30 years later, he said, you know what? I take photographs now. And I said, that's nice. And he said, you inspired me because you were always taking photographs. And so now I do it and I think about you when I'm doing it. And I thought, what are you talking about? I'm not a photographer. I don't consider myself, I do consider myself an artist. And through the years, I've tried all these different things like photography. I had a little dark room in my basement. So I think that's what he was thinking about. Like back in the day when you had these film cameras and, made the pictures in my basement. So 30 years later, he's inspired by that creative endeavor to do his own creative endeavor. And that I honor that in everyone so much. Like, who do you know that you're kind of feeling a little bit envious of because they're really living into that creative world that they have? Well,
Right.
maybe your envy is telling you like, hey, why don't you try that? Or why don't you try something like that?
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So who and what inspires you?
Yes, and maybe it's not even something that has anything to do with them.
Right,
Like like this guy being inspired to be into photography now, good for him. And good
right.
for me for doing it back then. Now, that didn't ever become my job. I do still like to take photos. Now I take them on my phone.
Mhm.
This is a really good camera now. Also, I recently noticed that a artist that I really admire in Seattle she mentioned something on Instagram, and she said, I'm inspired by how Lisa makes her quick, loose sketches. So I looked at her Instagram, and then I made these drawings when I was out watching music in Chicago the other night. So I'm like, what? You're looking at my little doodles online and you're a really great artist. Cool. So you never really know what it's going to be that's going to be inspiring for other people to open up their world to be more of who they are.
Mm.
How do you help your clients become more of like do that? Do you give them creative homework?
So the first step to become more of who you are is to get rid of the stuff other people have put on you. I call it
Mm,
a metaphor of a coat. You know, like I think we talked about this before, like when the weather's getting all those layers of clothing we're forced to wear as children. So a
yeah,
lot of times, whether it was well meaning or not, you had parents or somebody in your life force these coats on you that were ill fitting and hid who you really were. So a big part of my first step is to remove some of these coats. Like, okay, this is too big for you, or it's not fitting you right, or you're feeling suffocated by it. We need to take this sucker off. It's not helping you. So after we remove the coats, we then look to see what's underneath. And
right.
that is your true essence.
Right, because we all know someone who became a doctor, a dentist, a lawyer, not because they wanted to, because their
Right.
parents expected them to. And then
Exact.
they had a miserable life being in that profession
Yes.
until they got out of it. I know one guy who was a pediatrician his whole life, but really, I think he wanted to be a poet.
Mm.
So now that he's retired, he's a happy poet.
Aw.
But I don't think he was all that happy being a pediatrician.
Wow. Now, how sad is that? And I get it. You know, maybe at some point his parents discouraged him. Like I told the story of how I was discouraged from just pursuing writing because how are you going to support yourself, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I understand that. But when we kill that dream in that child, or when we make them doubt their ability or doubt the potential of them, maybe they could take this somewhere. We kind of kill that ability to just go for it and be spontaneous and embrace who they were, who they always were when they came into this world before somebody shoved a big, ugly coat on them.
I think that it seems to me that younger people, like 30 years and younger, are living their lives more this way than people of my era.
Mhm.
I think we were all all the people that I knew that I grew up with are like forced into this idea that go work for this company, work, and then retire, or go, get an advanced degree, be a lawyer, doctor, accountant, whatever. And now young kids are they're like, they have a different job every few years, and that's okay with them.
Right. I
And they're
think
trying out different things.
I think you're right. I think definitely there were generations. Well, I think also it's very cultural. I
Yeah,
think in this country, perhaps there's more of an embracing of be true to who you are, where I have worked with clients maybe from other countries or more traditional cultures where they may be 30 and under, but they're still very much getting that message. Like you better do something that is, going to support you and to support the family you're supposed to have, and all these have tos on your list that may not be what they want at all.
right.
And you still, there's a way to both love and honor your family of origin, but still be true, because I believe we're all unique souls coming into this world. And we're all in different situations to give us a variety of experiences. And the job of a parent is not to necessarily impose their idea of, oh, you must do this. I mean, obviously you instill a certain sense of morality so they don't go out and kill people. But after that, you want them to really embrace who they came into this world being.
Right, and I've heard it said this way recently, like if you can't even say what you love to do, like what your unique talents and gifts are, then think of a time when you were a little kid. What did you love to do then?
Yes.
And when I did that, I was like, well, I played in the sandbox. I pretended I was a teacher. I like to play with books and papers. And I was the oldest, and so I would pretend like I was a teacher and teach my little sisters something I learned in school that day. And so when I think about that, I'm like, I don't get the sandbox thing, but pretending I'm a teacher is perfect because now I am a teacher.
There you go.
So, wow. And now it still seems like I'm pretending to be a teacher. It still seems like it's a game I'm playing. And isn't that fun?
Exactly, because aren't we meant to forever play? I actually took a class in college. It was a somewhat, like philosophy slash let's think deeper about stuff. And I remember the title of the book we had to read for it was People at Play, the importance of play in life, and not just for kids, but for all of us. And we actually looked at the historical meaning of play in different ways. I mean, we really got into it. That's one of the cool things about college. Like you take courses, but this is why I firmly believe, please continue to do the well-rounded stuff. Yes, take the courses for your major, but take those courses that aren't just for your major, but they're going to make you think a little bit and maybe get you into things like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
right.
that's beautiful. So what do you love to do when you're playing? What did you love to do as a kid? And I think last resort, maybe not last resort, maybe someone could try this as a first resort. Ask your friends, because your friends and loved ones know what you're good at. They've watched you through the years, have your unique gifts and talents and share them with the world. And you might be surprised if you said to a friend, what would you say my gifts and talents are?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to tell you.
You're right. I love that. Now, when you do ask the friends and family members, make sure it's the people that always encouraged you.
Yes. Good point. I was also thinking, how would I say that? So thank you. You want the encouraging friends and family,
Yes.
not
Yes.
the discouraging friends and family.
Exactly. I mean, I'm not talking about the people who just gave you lip service and said, oh, that's wonderful. No, I'm talking about the friends or family members that when you were maybe drawing that picture as a kid could see the good in there. They didn't just give you lip service, but they said, wow, I liked the way you really made that look like the sun or whatever, because those are the people that were looking at you and seeing the potential. Whereas others might have been like, I don't know, do you really want to do that? Or I don't know if that's a good idea. So yeah, maybe don't ask the discouraging ones what your gifts and talents are, because you probably will just come away feeling worse. I would find that one that could find your beauty underneath whatever else is going on. Or as one of my clients has said, and I know I've probably said this before, but she will forever touch my heart, where she had said to me, because I'd worked with her from the time she was young, she said to me when she was older, thank you for seeing the good kid in me when no one else.
When no one else did.
Yes. That's who you need to ask, what are my gifts and talents? The people always were looking for them and could see them, maybe when somebody else.
Yes, that makes me think of a woman who said to me many, many years ago, I was a little bit lost and I was married, but unhappily married. And she asked me something that shocked me so much. She said, why would you stay with someone who makes you feel like that?
Mm.
And then she said, do you realize that you are a beautiful, powerful woman?
Mm.
And at that moment in time, we're having lunch. I didn't feel beautiful or powerful. I felt stuck in this situation that I didn't see a way out of. And I thought, wow, she sees me in a way that I don't see myself right now.
Mm.
And thank you, Misha, for seeing that, my potential, not who I was being in that moment, my scared little worried self, but who I could be is who she saw. Yeah.
Yes, I love that. Ask the people who see your potential.
Yes. Yes. So the fact that you could have friends and family, maybe more friends than family for most people, that will see your potential and
Yeah.
mirror it back to you.
Yes.
And those are the kind of people that you need to hang out with. I think we had another talk where we talked about, the 5 people you hang out with the most.
Yeah.
Those are the people you're going to be like the most. So be careful who you hang out with. Which, when I first heard that, I was like, ooh, who are those? Who are those 5 people? Is that, what do they talk about when I'm hanging out? There was a time in my life where the people I hung out the most like to complain.
Mm.
And so, in fact, I think in my family of origin, we were a lot of complainers. And the idea was, this is so bad and that is so bad. And this person is having such a hard time and that person's having such a hard time. And there was a way that we could be empathetic and feel bad for them and then somehow feel good for ourselves because we weren't in that bad situation. But it's not a very high vibe way to live.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at what's wrong and talking about terrible situations that other people are stuck in. I had to really think about why would I do that? And I don't care to do that anymore.
Good for you. So those watching, if you're hanging with people, if you're stuck in relationship or situation with people who don't make you feel good, who actually make you feel bad about yourself, think about what it is they're doing that's making you feel bad and maybe find another group of people.
Right on. Find new people, find the people that see your potential, that see your gifts and talents, and that admire them and encourage them.
Yes.
Right on. So what's one thing you're going to do today to use your own unique gifts and talents, Christina?
So I am actually going to be on a classic movie podcast tomorrow. So,
Oh,
yes.
tell me more.
So anyway, I belong surprisingly enough to so you've heard of Turner Classic Movies, right? So
Yeah.
classic movies that they actually have like these different groups within the different like areas and states. And I don't know if all the groups are around, but my little chapter in New York, we are still going strong. So I heard through their grapevine, there's a woman, Wendy's Classics Corner, and she does like movies and stuff. And she asked if anybody would be interested in appearing to talk about a screwball comedy and or a musical. So I'm going to be going over some of my notes later because I'm going to be on her podcast tomorrow to talk about, there are going to be other people too, but I'm going to be talking about the screwball comedy Palm Beach Story and the movie musical, The Sound of Music.
The Palm Beach Story and The Sound of Music. I don't know about the Palm Beach Story. I'm going to have to look that up.
Okay, so I don't know. Okay, so you're going to hear more about this when it's at the corner, and we'll see how this goes because I'm nervous. The only one I've done a podcast with you now is you, my dear friend. So keep fingers crossed all goes well tomorrow. The Palm Beach Story is a really cute screwball comedy. It stars Claudette Colbert and Joel McCrea. And the beginning part really sets the stage for this is a zany film. Just go with the fun. And
Okay.
it's about this couple who basically love each other very much, but they're very short on money. And so she has this madcap idea that she is going to divorce her husband, marry a millionaire, so that she can have this financial security she wants and give him the money he needs to finance his dreams.
Okay.
Yeah. So it sets the stage for a wild screwball comedy directed by Preston Sturges. And it has also the old-time singer Rudy Valley. The movie's from 1942. Mary Astor plays a madcap heiress, multiple married. It's silly, it's zany. It is one of those films I'd never seen before until I saw it on Turner Classic Movies. So there you go.
Rudy Valley was a very popular movie actor in his days.
This actually gave him his start. Prior to this movie, he was more known for his singing, and he actually sings one of his as popular hits at the time. And because of his performance in this film, he was even nominated for some awards. He got his contract with Paramount because of this film.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to hear about that, and you'll have to share the episode with me so I can share it with our listeners.
That's definitely. So keep fingers crossed all goes well with this. And I think it should be a lot of fun. So that's what I'm doing later, because as I'm sure you realize, and everyone else who's watched this more than once, I really, really like movies.
Yeah, you do. I learn a lot about classic movies from you, and I can't believe you can remember the names of the actors and the directors and the year it was made. That's one of your unique gifts and talents, Christina. Absolutely. That is cool. And your enthusiasm for it is not unnoticed.
Now help me figure out what to do with it.
Just keep doing what you're doing, girl, because someone's going to be inspired by what you say about a movie, and they're going to go watch it and they're going to go laugh their heads off.
Yes.
Yes. So you're spreading joy one movie at a time.
Oh, I love that.
Write that down. You should use that.
Yes,
Spreading joy one movie at a time.
I love that. Okay, I'm totally using that as a tagline on my site. Thank you.
Okay, dear listeners, thanks for tuning in and hearing what we had to say today about what do you do that inspires others.
Yeah.
Go and do that today. Go and do that and have fun.
Yes, definitely. Bye, everyone.